It's the question on everybody's mind: who will win this year's ICC 2020 World Cup? All the teams and players coming into this year's World Cup are going in without any real match practice or any idea of how good their side really is. Which is why today I'm going to be ranking every single side from last through to first to tell you where I think your side is going to finish in this year's World Cup. So let's get straight into it. The first week of the tournament will see 8 of the lower ranked sides go into 2 pools to play off to see who can get through to the Super 12. Out of these sides, I reckon Namibia and Ireland will fail to get through from Group A, and Oman and Scotland from Group B. Because these sides are being eliminated before the Super 12 even starts, I'm not going to talk about them. So from the teams that make it through to the Super 12, in 12th place, Papua New Guinea. This will be Papua New Guinea's first ever ICC World Cup, and I think that on its own should be enough to celebrate. By finishing 12th, it means that I'm predicting that they will make it through the initial group stages, which is an amazing achievement for a team in its debut tournament. Papua New Guinea is captained by Asad Valor, and I think will field a side similar to the one that lost to the Netherlands in the 2019 World Cup qualifying final. This side, though, won 5 of their 6 qualifying matches, and I think will be going into this tournament with a point to prove. Papua New Guinea have absolutely nothing to lose. No one is expecting anything of them, and because of that, they may be able to take the fight to some of the top sides with a major upset maybe on the cards. In 11th place, Netherlands. It was hard to predict between the Netherlands and Ireland for who will actually make it through the initial group stages, but the Netherlands have actually put together a really strong side that has some really good experience behind it. Some of these notable players are star-fast bowler from the Caribbean Premier League, Paul van Beekeren, and Kolkata Knight Riders batsman Ryan ten Dushat, who will be playing in his final World Cup, so they do have something to play for, which may help them over the line in the end. In 10th place, I've put Afghanistan, and to be honest, this is actually a little bit unfair because Afghanistan deserves to be higher up on this list, but the reason I've put them down in 10th place is because it is hard to predict what the ICC will adjudicate considering what is going on in their country at the moment. Afghanistan are also having a little bit of an unsettling period of time because their captain Rashid Khan has just stepped down from the role. He still will be playing in this year's World Cup, but he just won't be their captain. So it's sort of hard to predict where they're placed, which is why I've put them 10th. But I'd love to see them prove me wrong because they have a really strong list with internationally renowned stars Rashid Khan, Nabi, Rahman and Ahmed all playing in this year's World Cup. And a side like this, if fielded, would take the fight to some of the top sides, and it will be very exciting to see if they can pull off some major upsets in this year's tournament. In 9th place, Sri Lanka. It may seem like a bit of surprise putting 2014 World Cup winners Sri Lanka down in 9th place, but as shown by failing to automatically qualify for the Super 12s this year, as well as consecutive 2020 series losses against England and South Africa, Sri Lanka are really not the side that they once were ever since they lost the likes of Sangakkara, Dilshan, Jay Wardner, Muralitharan and Malinga. This side is also suffering with the fact that 4 of their players have just recently been banned after they evaded COVID protocols. I guess you could look at this for its positives though, in the sense that, yeah, okay, they're not going to win the World Cup, but some of their younger players can now get an opportunity to prove themselves on the world stage now that some of these players have gone. This side will be captained by Dasin Shanaka, and you never know, Sri Lanka may pull off a surprise this year. In 8th place, Australia. The Aussies have never really got their act sorted when it comes to 2020 cricket, despite having some of the best players in the world coming out of their Big Bash League. The 2020 World Cup is the one trophy that Australia has still not won, and I don't think their chances are being helped this year, considering their form going into this year's World Cup. And even though the Aussies may be using the excuse of the fact that they had big names like David Warner, Steve Smith and Marnus Labuschagne not playing against Bangladesh, they also got smashed by the West Indies in the Caribbean earlier this year as well. On paper though, they have a very good looking side, which is why you just can never write them off, but at the same time, based off how they've been playing this year, and you know, it really just seems unlikely they'll be able to get out of the group stage, especially considering the fact that they have England, South Africa and the West Indies in their same group. So sorry Australia, it's just not happening. In 7th place, Pakistan. Like Sri Lanka, Pakistan have dropped off in recent years and they don't quite have the side like they did in the early 2010s. But as shown throughout cricket history, it is always a mistake to write off Pakistan as a nation with such strong cricket pedigree has always been able to prove the haters wrong. In this year's World Cup, a relatively new look side will be fielded with some surprise inclusions making their way into the squad, such as Asif Ali and Azam Khan. It should be noted that Pakistan will be buoyed by the fact that this year's World Cup will actually be hosted in the UAE after the World Cup was shifted from India due to the COVID outbreak there. This will be a huge benefit to Pakistan because the UAE is actually the Pakistan's second home, because Pakistan have been playing their home matches there ever since 2010. So even though I've put them in 7th place, I won't be forgetting about them anytime soon. In 6th place, Bangladesh. Fresh off a 5-0 thumping of the Aussies and a series win against the Black Caps, Bangladesh are going into this World Cup with red-hot form and will be the team to watch in this year's tournament. It's well known that Bangladesh are the dark horse side when it comes to World Cups and have always caused upsets throughout cricket history, which is why you can never write them off. That's why I put them 6th, because I think they have a sneaky chance to do quite well this year. Bangladesh will be led up by captain Mahmudullah in their opening match against Scotland and are expected to breeze through the group stages to the Super 12 stage. I've placed them 6th because of the high caliber sides ahead of them, but do not be surprised to see them sneak through to the finals and create some major upsets throughout the tournament. In 5th place, actually, before I get to 5th place, it needs to be noted that all 5 of these sides have a really good chance of winning the World Cup. So if I've placed your team in the lower half of the top 5, please don't be offended, because it was very hard to predict who will be winning this year's World Cup. But anyway, this is what I think. In 5th place, I've put the West Indies. It was very difficult to put the West Indies 5th because they always come to the table when the World Cup's on. This star-ridden squad will be captained by Kieran Pollard and will feature the likes of Chris Gayle, who'll be returning for his 7th World Cup. I predicted the West Indies to finish just outside the final series because of the incredible talent they'll be going up against in the group stage. They're also going into this World Cup with some shaky form, as they just lost a rain-ridden 2020 series against Pakistan and a 2020 series away from home against South Africa. To their credit, they did smash Australia at home, and the return of some big internationally renowned stars will still make them a team with a fighting chance for the title. Now we have the finals teams, and in 4th place we have New Zealand. There's something special about New Zealand cricket of the last 7 years since the 2015 one-day international World Cup that was held in Australia and New Zealand. This tiny nation of 3 million people has been able to regularly churn out fantastic cricket players and cricket sides that are able to consistently perform on the world stage, and I think this year will be no different. The Black Caps will be led out by their world-class captain Kane Williamson and will be in safe hands with big man Martin Guptill opening the batting and lightning-quick Lockie Ferguson leading the bowling attack. Now onto the pointy end of things. In 3rd place, I've got South Africa. A bit of an outside choice for the title, especially considering their shaky World Cup record. South Africa, I think, have actually put together a solid World Cup squad that can take the fight to the top. Despite no longer having the likes of Dale Steyn, Morne Morkel or Vernon Philander, this fast bowling making machine of a country is churning out a new crop of world-class bowlers, led by Kagiso Rabada and #1 ranked 2020 bowler in the world Shamsi, and is sure to send shivers down the spines of batsmen who come against them. They'll be led out by Captain Temba Bavuma and Quinton de Kock in what is an imposing looking side, but a poor record in World Cup finals, having never passed the semi-final stage of any World Cup, has led me to place them in 3rd place. Making it to the grand final in 2nd place, I've put England. So close, but yet so far. Going into this tournament as hot favourites, I've predicted England will make it to the grand final, posing a formidable batting lineup that has the ability to dominate weak bowling lineups. England are set to put on a show this year for the neutral, with high-scoring matches on the cards whenever they go out to play. This side will have a point to prove as they set out on their attempt to win their 2nd ICC 2020 World Cup. While their side is very dangerous, they'll be without star all-rounder Ben Stokes and dangerous fast bowler Jofra Archer, who are both missing the tournament, which is why I have placed them 2nd, not 1st. In 1st place, I am predicting the winners of this year's World Cup to be India. The winners of the inaugural 2020 World Cup, India have always been a powerhouse. Having proven their strength against England early this year in a series win, India will be taking experience and a star-studded lineup into this year's World Cup, which arguably is the best in the world at the moment. Ashwin returns to the fold along with Bumrah, Kumar Jadeja and Mohammad Shami in what is the makings of a lethal bowling attack. This side will be led out by King Virat Kohli, but not necessarily in his usual role. He will be at number 3 and will have big hitting Rohit Sharma and star in the making KL Rahul ahead of them. These three on their own will make them a hard force to beat in this year's World Cup, as they will be able to dominate opening bowling lineups. So that's it. Let me know down below your thoughts on these predictions and who you think will win this year's ICC 2020 World Cup. Thank you so much for watching this video. I've got plenty more videos like this coming your way, so make sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you don't want to miss out. Thanks for watching.